Hello friends, I'm Andrea Lake and I have a new process video to share with you today using the beautiful, colorful Into the Wild collection by Simple Stories. And we're going to work with a 3D 3-layer star mini album cut file that was designed by Jamie Lane Designs. I will have the link to that cut file in the description box below. It's a link to the Silhouette store, and I will also have all of the links to all of the products that I used. This is a 4x4 mini album, and it will have the star shape, and the base is, the covers are made of chipboard. As you can see, we're just going to cover those pieces of chipboard as we normally do, or as I normally do when I work with a chipboard and covering those pieces. Also using double-sided, super sticky double-sided tape on the inside. But before I do that, I've found that it's easier for me, since I like to add machine stitching details around the edges, it's easier for me to do that before I actually fold these flaps here. It's easier for me. It's easier when I cover the inside covers. So now with chipboard, I still sometimes have issues. You can see the lines are not really straight, but we're gonna be almost done here in just a minute. And after that, the rest of the pieces, this is a pretty easy cut file to work with. Oh, by the way, let's pay attention to this part of the process. I went ahead and I am not gonna end up using the yellow cardstock. This is the coordinating dandelion Simple Story Simple Vibe cardstock. I had to switch to orange. I did not have another two full pieces of the orange one, which was originally the one I wanted to use, because I went ahead and added tape everywhere and I didn't get the shape or the star to actually open properly. So here we go. The first two pieces are used. You fold the pieces in half. So with the cut file, you get the size of the pieces, 3 different sizes that you're gonna use to put together each one of the spreads of this cut file. As I said, I used the cut file only to cut basic pieces out of whatever piece of cardstock you want to use, and then I just cut the rest by hand using my paper trimmer. Now the tricky part here is, the tricky but amazing part is that you only have to add double-sided tape or the adhesive that you prefer on the edge, the outside edge of each one of your pieces. Once you cover your inside covers, that's all you have to do. So I wasted about an hour just covering and adding double-sided tape on the entire piece, and then my star would just, my mini album was just not doing what I wanted it to do. And then I realized, thankfully, it was a much easier process than I thought. Now, the reason behind this mini album being a star mini album is that this collection is all about animals, and my original idea was, well, my kids are big, let me try to go with something different, a different approach than, a visit to the zoo or whatever. Now, then I found some adorable pictures that I did not had included in a mini album or layouts. Now I got some extra ones that I'll be using for layouts with this collection. So I went with the basics, and I'm using this collection to work with a visit to the zoo style mini album and photos. Now, again, the star shape helps me, or my idea was it looks like the exhibits. Each one of these spreads, as I am rotating the album or as I open it, brings me back to each one of the exhibits. So I'll see how many pictures I have from, the kids with different animals, and I'll include those in each one of the spreads. I think we have a lot of giraffe pictures, so there are 2 giraffe exhibits. Right? So now I'm putting together the 3rd layer. I'm almost done with that. And the fun, you can see the 3 layers. Now my star opens perfectly, just making sure and see how much room I actually have to add details to it. But it's now time to embellish. And this is my favorite part when it comes to mini albums and layouts and everything. So bring all of the products that you have. And I printed my photos. Some of them are 2x2 and some of them are just a little bit taller, and maybe 2x2.25 or 2.5, something like that. They fit perfectly on one of the sides of these exhibits, and then it's just a matter, we're gonna add some details, some embellishments on top of the photos, on the other side of the photo, either behind the layers, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a little bit. You can see one of the giraffes is actually behind that first layer, and I'm adding the photo on top of my die cut. This was such a fun project for me to work on. First of all, because I remember I had those pictures, and I think I'm loving the idea of the exhibits. I actually have to admit that I love how interactive, how simple, but how interactive this mini album ended up being. Adding some more details and just checking here and there that, my mini album is not way too chunky, that it's gonna look weird when I try to close it. But oh my gosh, the illustrations, the colors, the patterns on this collection are just fun. I had the best time, I have to say, putting this mini album together. It's a small one, so I got to play. I didn't get to include any of the foam stickers. That's what I said. I saved some of the pictures to create a couple of one or two layouts with this collection, because I just cannot get enough of it. Here we go. I'm just going with, it's going to be a very simple. The title fit perfectly the size of my layout. I also love all of the elements that are coming out from the pages and that are peeking through on the outside. So when my album is standing on the shelf, it's also fun to see all of the elements that are peeking through. All right, this is it, my friends. Super easy to put together. As I said, I'm glad that once I realized I made a mistake, fixing it was actually way easier than and everything. So you can see here each one of the spreads. I like to keep the mini album open and kind of have it aligned with, my eyes, so I can rotate it and again somehow feel that these are zoo exhibits, and I can see my kids having fun and go back to that wonderful couple of days. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you have any questions. As I said, all of the links to the products that I used and the cut file that I used as inspiration are linked below. You can also find the links to my other social media channels. Please let me know if you have any questions, any comments. I am happy to read you. This was Andrea for Simple Stories. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.